My name is Philip Webb from PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind group page, and I've been an ISO for over 20 years. How my story began is about 20 years ago. I was a music and games operator, and we were collecting the games, and I collected all of the games that at this bar. We were upstairs, and then I took the collection and I went downstairs and split it up with the owner. And when I was down there, I saw that they had an ATM up in the bar, and I said to the owner, I said, hey, what's that upstairs? He says, oh, that's an ATM. It just got deregulated, and now I can put ATMs in gas stations in a bar. And he says, why do you ask? I said, well, if you're going to put an ATM in here, why do you ask us? And he said, Phil, you do ATMs? And I said, no, but I could do it. And he says, I'll tell you what, if you decide to get an ATM business, what I'll do is I will put your ATM in here. And so it took us about 3 months to really get going and figure out how to do this ATM and how to process and how to bulk cash it. So now I got my first ATM, and where do you think I went? You're right, I went to somebody else and they put my ATM in. But all kidding aside, that bar owner, he ended up putting us in there. Okay? Now, when we got into business, ATMs were about $8,000, okay? And we were making, on that bar, we did about 80 transactions a month, which is about $80. So if you want to do the ROI and something like that, it would take us about 8 years to pay for that. So we weren't making any money, but then what happened, something wonderful happened, is the ATMs went from 8,000 to 7,000 to 5,000. And then Nautilus, Yosum, and Tranix, they were together, they split. And when they did that, they dropped down the price to under 3,000. And we could start to make money. So we were collecting one other location, and the guy, I walked in, I was collecting, and the guy was yelling at his mail, and he was saying, I'm tired of these guys, I'm tired of these fees, this is incredible, why does this keep happening? And so I said to him, I said, what's the problem? Why are you yelling at your mail? He said, because look at this. These guys come in, they ask me to float them some money because they don't have enough money for payday. They write me a check, and then what happens is I cash that check in about a week, and there's no money in the account, and they bounce it time after time. And he says, not only that, I call them, and they don't ever answer the phone, and they won't give you the money. So I lose a customer, I lose my money, and I get killed at the bank with fees. And so I said to him, what if there was a way that you could keep your customer? You could keep your money, and you don't have to be charged at the bank. He says, if you can tell me how to do that, I'm all in. So I said, here's the program. We have an ATM. If they take money, they use your card, they receive the funds, and you have money now for your business. He says, I love it. And we solved the problem that day. We had an opportunity to go out and place ATMs in these bars. So I took that program and I went bar to bar, and I told them, hey, you don't have to cash checks anymore. But what we can do is we can place an ATM in your bar. And so they loved it. And I would go to, I was a music and games operator, I would go to these Game Away shows, and I would talk to other amusement operators, and they would tell me how they were tired of buying equipment year after year that had a 6-month shelf. So I said, hey, I got this ATM program that we're doing, and they said, I don't know how to do anything with ATMs. I said, I'll teach you. I'll teach you from the soup to nuts what I learned. And so what we did is we did that. We taught amusement operator after amusement operator after amusement operator how to be in the ATM business. Now, you would say, oh, why are you telling me all these stories? I'm telling you these stories because what we did is we solved the problem. In business, a lot of times what we don't do, especially in ATMs, we're not solving a problem. My question to you guys is, what problem do you guys solve? How do you guys differentiate between your business and the other ATMs out there? So I just want you to ponder that for a second. Okay, so what I want to know is how many beginners, ATM people are in the room. What I would consider a beginner is somebody who has maybe less than 10 ATMs and been in the business for less than 5 years. Do we have any? Okay, so we got a few. That's good. So one of the things that I wanted to tell you guys is in the ATM business is number one, and I'm not going to go through all these, but I'll go through a few of them. Is number one is know where you're going. I always say, like, have an exit strategy, but know where you're going. What my wife always does is, I got a 14-year-old daughter, and she constantly goes through clothes. And what happens is my wife says, okay, I'm gonna go to the mall, and she puts blinders on and she goes right to the mall. And it doesn't matter if I ask her to go get me a case of beer or something. She's like, nope, I'm going to the mall, I gotta get clothes. So in this business, know where you're going so you can get to the right spot. As a beginner, what we did is we went to Facebook Marketplace, and we went out and we created an ad for Facebook Marketplace that we were going to give a free ATM. And when we did this, we just put it out, and in about 10 minutes, we got 20 responses. Okay, we vetted some of those responses, and then we got 10 hard leads, and we were able to secure some deals with this Facebook Marketplace. It didn't cost us anything, and we got some locations. The other thing I want to tell you is when you're in the business, bank accounts are so important. And what we find out is that there's a lot of people in this industry with the bank accounts closed. But one of the tips that I want to give you guys is to ensure and really entangle yourself with the bank. So have a meeting with the bank, let them know what you do in case they don't know, and then ask them about their savings plans. What CDs do they have? What money markets do they have? What savings plans do they have to give some interest rates? Now, it might not be the best possible interest rate, but what you can do is now you're building that relationship. And if you need to borrow money for a car or your business or a house, you're building that relationship. And in case that bank gets bought out or change of management, now what'll happen is you'll be so entrenched that they won't kick you out. Because the bank is the lifeline of our business. Now we got to what I would consider intermediate items. One of the, and I don't want to go through all these, but bulk cash situation is one that a lot of people want to expand their portfolio. And what we learned as a deal with bulk cash providers is that those bulk cash providers don't necessarily have the same values as you do. And so what you want to do is you want to vet those people real closely. You want to make sure that they have the same values as your company. Maybe as far as service, you want to make sure that they have, let's say, a 24-hour response time or a 48-hour response time. Whatever that is that you guys are accustomed to, you want to make sure that this is the same thing. What we have found is we rely on some bulk cash providers, and then they don't fill the ATM for a couple of days, and that looks very poorly on our business. We went out, we got the location, we did our homework, and then these people, they don't necessarily have the same time schedule as far as maintenance as we do. So what I'm telling you guys is make sure that they line themselves in the same way as your company. And then I would say don't give them surcharges. Don't give them the surcharges on a daily basis. Hold it off for monthly. That way, if something does go awry, then you can hold that as a little caveat to hold over their heads to make sure that they provide the service that they're supposed to. Okay? And my last point is reconciliation. I harp on reconciliation. It's a big part of our business. I try to teach reconciliation and what that means to each business. And I just want to share a little story with you guys. Is we had a customer that placed an ATM in kind of a faraway region, and they weren't able to vault cash it. So what they did is the customer vaulted that ATM. And then there was a bar, and the bar ended up closing. Okay, and they left the ATM in that location so they could ensure getting the ATM for the next time. So it was a weekend, and they had an ATM that went down. And what they did is they said, what we'll do is we'll just pull that ATM and we'll place it into that bar. And nobody thought about the fact that the bulk cash money, the bank account, was the previous bar owner. And this went on, so they loaded that money into that ATM, and they kept filling it for months and months and months. 8 months this happened. They didn't know that because they didn't reconcile. What happened is it was a Labor Day weekend, and the owner of the bar called the ATM operator and said, hey, I got a big chunk of deposit here. I don't know what's this for. Can you check on it? They called us, and we said, yeah, for the last 8 months, all of the deposits have been going into that person's account to the tune of 30 grand. Now, if they would have known, if they would have reconciled, they would have found this out right away. So just trying to harp on reconciliation because it's a big part of this business, and I want you guys to make sure you have the money. So, thank you very much for that. Without further ado, we got Jeremy from Show Some. So, kick it off, Jeremy.